I mean, is Cooper Rush worth 2.5 points? I would hope Quinn Ewers put up a decent stat line against Arizona State. If he didn't, we have a real problem.
You can say the same thing about Creighton. Okay, they had the one good game against Kansas at home.
When Toast talks about the kicking market, it's like some earth is flat shit. Andy, true or false, this is going to be a dog walking.
Dog walking. This is my dog walking of the day. I think it's going to be very ugly. Dog walking. I think this is going to be ugly.
Hey, get this
too heavy in the beginning, but goddamn.
Greetings. Hope everyone's enjoying their Monday. Hope you all had a nice Sunday. I think I went 3-3 yesterday, lost a few dollars. Overall, last week was great for me. Hopefully, we get this week started off to a nice start. We got one WNBA game, and Chris has got a play for us. Chris, where are we going in this Seattle Storm on the road in Dallas? By the way, tuned into a WNBA game. That league, man, I can't. It's never about the basketball. It's just about like a take foul, flagrant foul. Like that's all it is. Like it's just a reality TV show. If it was about the basketball, maybe it would draw my interest a little more. So, what do you think of this basketball game?
What's the current line? I haven't checked.
3.5 Dallas catching.
3.5. So 3.5. I think I probably have to go Dallas plus the points at 3.5. But I got in yesterday. I played the Storm on the money line, as you put underneath my name. Storm came out in game one. I took Storm first game. They were playing against the X Factor out in Phoenix and got absolutely smoked. They opened 3.5 point favorites, 3.5 point dogs. Clear Copper ended up getting ruled out. They moved all the way from 3.5 point dogs to 6.5 point favorites to lose the game by double digits. So it was a terrible showing. If we go back to last year, Seattle wasn't the greatest road team at all. Like they really struggled on the road. This year they don't have Jewel Lloyd, but they do have Gabby Williams at the beginning of the season. And what this game came down to, in my opinion, Kyle, is Seattle being able to bounce back a little bit. I do think that there's a couple tiers in the WNBA. It's only 13 teams, and there's some that absolutely stink, and then there's some very, very elite teams. And then I think that there's a subset in the middle between the other teams as well. It's like a elite, and then there's like an A, and then a B, and then the trash teams. And I would put Seattle in that A list.
Who are the trash teams?
The trash teams are going to be the Connecticut Sun, brand new roster. I think just a brand
Weren't
new
they like the best team in the league last year?
Yeah, they lost everybody except like 3 players. So the whole starting 5 is gone. Wow. Same thing with who else is supposed to be trash like that?
Golden State.
Oh, the Valkyries. The Valkyries.
Well, they're an expansion team.
Expansion team. So those would be the teams that like they don't even have a superstar on their team. So those teams I expect to get smoked. The Dallas Wings, on the other hand, not that bad, which is why I said at 3.5, I think I would come in on the other side here. The reason why I bet Seattle though is because I am expecting a little bit of a bounce back performance from them. When I look at this game, Dallas is a team that we go back to last season, historically bad on the defensive end. I don't think they made a lot of improvements to get better on the defensive end. So while Phoenix was able to win that game with their defense last game, because Gabby Williams and players like Ezzie Magmagor combined to go 2 for 18 from the field, I think they were 1 for 9 apiece. I do expect Seattle to be able to score the basketball. You got Arike Ogunbowale out there taking a bunch of shots. I like the defense that they can throw at her from a matchup perspective. With Gabby Williams, an elite defensive player. A lot of people have her for potentially most improved this season. But you also got Skylar Diggins out there. So I like the matchups from the guard position, being able to slow down somebody like Arike Ogunbowale. I also, if they're not guarding Arike, they'll guard Paige Beckers, who was the number 1 draft pick this season. Unfortunately for Paige Beckers, which I like Paige Beckers, I think she's going to be great in the league. She started her career with 2 really elite defensive teams. This Seattle team is a lot better than they played on Saturday against Phoenix. And then, for her, she started the season at home. She played against the one of the best defensive teams in the league in the Minnesota Lynx. So it's been tough. It's kind of tough pickings for her. She'll have a much more prosperous season as things go on. The other thing I want to mention real quick, Al, is the matchup advantages that Seattle has on the interior. Right, so you got Nneka Ogwumike. She's a perennial all-star in the league. I think she averaged like 16, 17 points last season. She's won gold medals and all that good stuff. And Ezzie Magmagor, who absolutely played terrible in that last game. They don't have the bigs that, a Phoenix team has. I don't think that they are capable of playing a defense that Phoenix can play. So that's why I ended up landing with Seattle. I think even if it comes down to a possession, I expect them to be able to go out there and get the stop. They were a top 3 defensive team last season. I'll take their defense as the best unit in this game, and I laid the -140. This opened at 1, just FYI, and now it's up to 3.5.
All right, so you got in on the Storm money line early. It's up to that -160, -165. Now it might be a little bit unplayable. But all right, Chris, have a good day, man. Let's talk some baseball.
See you tomorrow.
All right, we got Toast Underdog Pick'em on the screen, so we'll start off with that. One second. Let me just set the screen up for 3 people. All right. Bring Toast on to talk about Underdog. All right, go ahead, Toast.
All right, for the Underdog today, just P. Crow Armstrong, you can just kind of just pencil him in on an everyday basis until we start seeing things otherwise right now from him. I mean, honestly, so it's going to be juiced on the books. I played it at like -160, but this is just a thing where I'm just going to be playing every day. Not really a dig on Cabrera or anything like that. It's just that when you have someone like him at the top of the lineup with speed and guys like Tucker and Suzuki behind him, it's just really hard not to like him here. And then as far as Nick Castellanos is concerned, obviously good hitting conditions over there in Coors Field today. Not to mention Kyle Freeland so far this year, really struggling with righty bats, a 1.82 whip against righties, on top of the fact that Castellanos has really fared well against him in his career against Kyle Freeland, like a 1.0 OPS against him and 3 homers as well. So a lot of opportunities, I think, for Castellanos to get some hits, runs, and RBIs on the board. And then Freddie Freeman, a really good matchup against Brandon Pfaadt. He's seen him really well. He only had 1 hit yesterday. Freddie Freeman's been absolutely amazing. I expect him to bounce back, him and the Dodgers to bounce back today.
That's an Underdog Fantasy Pick'em. For those of you that don't have an Underdog Fantasy account, the promo code is BET. That'll get you up to $1,000 deposit bonus match. We've got Spoon with us. You can find Spoon over on the Pub Sports channel right here on YouTube. At the end, he'll tell you exactly where to find it. But Spoon joining us for the first time to talk some baseball. We got Cubs, Marlins leading off. Spoon, you want to bat lead off on the first game?
Sure. We got a Cubs pitcher, not necessarily my favorite. He's a 2-pitch guy, just a fastball and a curveball, nothing else to throw at the hitters. And because of that, I'm kind of off this game. I was looking at Marlins full game. I don't really trust this Cubs bullpen very much. And their first 5 looks with the Cubs have been really solid all year. Edward Cabrera, though, he's a good pitcher. It's kind of hit or miss. Sometimes you can get a really good game out of him, and sometimes he'll walk the bases loaded, and the Cubs can take advantage of that. So I just ended up passing on it. There's too much juice involved with it for me to make any good bet. What do you guys got?
I did place a bet on this game, but I guess did I forget to post it? Let me check my I could have sworn I placed this last night.
Didn't you place over?
I did place the over. I guess I forgot to track it. So I did place the over here. I must have forgotten to post it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on the over 8.5 here. I don't really trust either starting pitcher. Toast is going to talk some shit about Ben Brown, saying he's good, but the truth is he's not. We know the Cubs bats are solid. Another thing Toast is probably going to try to tell you, the Cubs bats aren't reliable.
Yo, what are we doing?
No, I mean, Edward Cabrera, yes, he does have his moments when he's got his stuff working, but when he doesn't, he can give up a lot of runs in a hurry. You take out the White Sox start. He did pitch well against the White Sox in his last start, but other than that, I mean, he hasn't really been making many outs. I think it's a good opportunity for the Cubs to hit. Yes, I know the Cubs haven't been quite as explosive offensively. I think the Cubs are going to score some runs. I don't really trust Ben Brown. Hard hit rate is concerning. The Marlins just saw him. Don't really trust either bullpen. We're in an over ballpark. All signs point towards the over here. I guess I forgot to post this one, so I'll post it after for those of you that were looking on the website. Toast.
I didn't end up betting anything besides PCA, hit runs, and RBIs. As far as Ben Brown goes, I mean, only 2 starts on the road so far this year, both really good against the Dodgers and Milwaukee. I don't think that he's as bad as I mean, there's a lot of people that don't like this kid, and I just don't see it. He's played in Wrigley with some weird weather. I mean, and he's fared pretty damn well for the most part. Again, I'm not trying to make a case that Ben Brown's some all-star or anything like that, but I also will say that I don't think he's a huge 170 favorite at all. I don't really like either one of these bullpens. I just don't know what to expect from Cabrera. That's all. Like, if he's starting to figure it out and not walk guys and find the zone, like obviously the White Sox and Athletics, like this Cubs offense, regardless of how they've been bad the last couple weeks, is a huge step up in competition for him. So I'm not really sure what to think of him. As far as your overs, I don't hate your over, especially with these two bullpens, because I don't really trust either one of them. So yeah, it would only be Miami or pass. And the only reason that I say that is because this number really hasn't moved since last night. So clearly the books aren't really worried about taking in Cubs money right now. I'm not betting this game, but
you both said Marlins are pass here.
Yeah.
Cubs just called up their top prospect from AAA again. He's hitting 1,100 over the last couple of weeks. So that could help the offense and the over there as well.
I love it. So I'm the only one with a bet on this game. I went over. Let's go to the next one.
I did play PCA, so.
Okay. Reds, Pirates, me and Spooner on the same side here. I'm on the Pirates. I got it at plus 105. It's now at minus 105, so market likes the bet a bit. It's simply, first of all, Lodolo, I know he looks like he might have gotten his shit together a little bit, but as a whole, he's been extremely disappointing this year. But by no means am I saying the Pirates are going to smack Lodolo around. They can't hit anybody. I get that. But who is pitching the second half of this game for the Reds? Lodolo better throw 8 innings in this one. I'm going to pull it up on the screen just so you could see how dramatic this is. This is actually crazy. I can't believe they wanted that win against Cleveland bad yesterday because they emptied the tank for this one. Here's the situation with the Reds bullpen right here on the screen. Pagan has pitched 3 straight days. Santillan 3 straight days. Graham Ashcraft will be available, and they're going to need him because he's about it. So you might say, hey, Taylor Rogers, 2 of the last 3, only threw 3 pitches. Maybe. But he's pitched in 3 of the last 4 days. So, I don't know if Taylor Rogers will pitch either. Luis May, 3 of the last 4 back-to-back days, probably not available. They're going to have this guy, Suter.
I was going to say, that's where you're going to see the bull come because he's the guy that will take 2 or 3 innings for them. That's what you're going to see behind Lodolo.
And the Pirates bullpen, although it's not great, it's completely rested. This is with Mitch Keller on the mound, this is the Pirates' chance to win a game in this series. Reds just traveling in. Got plus 105. It's at minus 105 now. I think the Pirates win. Spoon, you're with me, right?
Yeah, a lot of the same sentiment there. That Cincinnati bullpen, there's nothing left. I don't even think Suter is going to go 2 days after throwing 47 pitches. But honestly, this Pirates team, I think the bats can get to Cincinnati's starter too. Lodolo, he's a sinker ball pitcher who's got a good curveball. And if you look at his curveball and sinker ball numbers this year, they're both bad. His curveball is down. It's not dropping as much as it was last year. And while he's had some success, I don't think it's going to continue to be that successful over the course of the season. And he's not throwing his sinker ball as much. He's switched over and he's throwing a 4-seam now, and that's because the sinker is getting rocked. And while he's been good enough to be lucky this point, I think between the bad bullpen, you force his hand by asking him to go an extra inning. I really think the Pirates can get to him.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at on it. I got Pirates money line as well. I didn't move on it last night. I went this morning, got just plus 100. I
want to bring something up real quick because I know everyone has questions about the Pirates bats. Why wouldn't you? I have the same questions, trust me. But I will pull up the Pirates against their game logs against lefty starters specifically. Number 1, look at the names on this list. These are some pretty solid lefties here. Ranger Suarez, yes. David Peterson, Chris Sale, Liberatore, Boyd's been good this year, Imanaga, Tyler Anderson. So they've seen some good lefties. And if you actually take a look, they're getting a couple runs across. 3 runs on Ranger Suarez, 2 runs on David Peterson, 2 runs on Chris Sale, 10 base runners. They were actually giving Chris Sale problems. So it's not like they've been, Matthew Boyd, 9 base runners, 2 earned runs, just 5. So it's not like they've been completely blanked. And like I said, in the late innings, just give me 2 runs off Lodolo here, and we should be in good position to win this baseball game in the late innings with the completely cooked Reds bullpen. Toast, you're on the first 5 under, right?
Yeah, I got 4.5. I don't think they're available. You might be able to find one or two out there, juice. But yeah, I got first 5 under 4.5, just because I really like what I've seen from Mitch Keller his last couple starts. Obviously, he definitely struggles with some lefties. So Friedel, De La Cruz, Gavin Lux, I know a lot of people like Will Benson because he's hit a couple homers the last couple of days. I mean, if Will Benson beats me today, so be it, or hits another home run with 2 guys on, so be it. But this Reds offense, it's just so hit or miss for me. And I know that their numbers on the season on the road are kind of good, but I just don't really trust them right now. Again, I know that they looked really good in Cincinnati, but I think that Mitch Keller's pitching a lot better than people give him credit for. He looked really, really good against the Mets, and he looked really good against St. Louis too. I know 6 innings, three runs on 7 hits isn't really impressive with 3 walks, but I watched that whole start. He was really impressive. It was kind of some bleeders that got through and some bad defense behind him. So I trust both of these guys to pitch well. And as far as Lodolo's concerned, I don't really trust him that much, but I do really like him on the road. Had one kind of shaky start on the road in Miami, but in San Francisco, in Colorado, in Atlanta, he was pretty damn dominant in those starts. So I feel pretty comfortable with the first 5 under 4.5.
Someone was saying you could still get on FanDuel, you could still get a price close to this. Someone else mentioned no O'Neal Cruz in the lineup today. That's very possible. Wouldn't matter. Have you seen his numbers against lefty pitching? He's hitting like 114 against lefties this year. So O'Neal Cruz not playing, it's fine with me because he's not really the bat I'm relying on here. I mean, someone in that lineup. I realize all their numbers look pretty bad. Mets on the road in Boston. Toast, what did you have in this one? I forget what you said.
It would be Mets first 5 run liner pass. Right. Emphasis on the pass.
Yeah, this is a tough one. Someone in the Discord was talking about last night that Kodai Senga under 2.5 earned runs, that he hasn't allowed 3 earned runs in a single start. I don't know. I didn't look at that myself. It was just interesting.
So far this year, yeah, that's correct. He's only given up 1 run twice. I mean, it's a lot of zeros. The only 2 runs he gave up was to Washington over 6 innings.
So I said last night that I think it might be a sneaky spot to play Boston. The Mets coming off Sunday Night Baseball with a travel. I know it's a little thin, but it's something. What do you think, Spoon?
I got pretty close to an over in this one. I think if the temperature was a little bit warmer in Boston, I'd probably play it. I think Kodai Senga has been a little bit of just a product of the environment he's played in, and that's really pitcher-friendly parks. The Mets park always pitcher-friendly, and just if you look across the season, he's played in a lot of northern, low-temperature environments. I think Fenway is going to play a lot more offensive-friendly tonight than the parks he's played in. If this had been an 8.5, I think maybe I would have gotten on it. I think that 9 is kind of a key number here. Fenway can play really offensively. You're not necessarily going to get all the home runs here, but I think you just get so many runners on. You can hit doubles off that wall, and that 9 becomes a small number when you got 2 teams tied 3-3 after 5. But it wasn't quite enough for me. I didn't move on it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, you would think this pitching matchup, I think Boston can possibly score on Kodai Senga, but what would keep me off of an over? Both of these bullpens are completely rested. I mean, maybe the Mets aren't going to have Stanek, but other than that, like the arms they want to have, they're going to have Kranick, Garrett, Diaz all available. Same goes for Boston. They're going to have all their guys available. I'll put Boston up because I think coming off the Sunday Night Baseball game, the Subway Series, maybe the Mets are a little flat, but that's razor thin, honestly.
I was gonna say I think that if you're playing this, if you want to bet this game, I think that you rather target the Mets lefties versus Hunter Dobbins, like Soto and stuff coming off of that Yankees series where they kind of didn't do anything, or you focus on the only reason I say that the Mets early is because I trust Senga in these situations, because I was worried about Senga versus the Arizona lineup. Why? Because they have a whole bunch of lefties that can kill you, and that's kind of where he struggles. And he was just fine against that Arizona offense. So that's the only reason why I only said first 5 run line, because I get that there's lefties in the Boston lineup that can definitely do damage. But at the same time, he fared so well against Arizona back-to-back starts. It's just hard for me to think that he's not going to pitch well here today. So I don't know. It's like I said, emphasis on the pass, but I just wanted to say that because I did look at this game a lot.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm pulling it up right now. I'm pretty sure there's like super strong wind. Yeah, blowing towards first base.
It's also like 50 degrees or something like that.
All right,
which is even worse.
Let's move on to the next one. What's the next one?
Frozen dirty water.
Houston, Tampa. I actually saw Spoon was on the Astros money line here. You like this at the plus money?
Yeah, this Colton Gordon kid is a pitcher I want to back going forward this year. I don't know if you know a lot about him, but he pitches in the PCL, and he's one of the better pitchers in the PCL. Coming out, he was first in ERA, second in innings pitched, third in strikeouts, fifth in WHIP. He's a mature guy. He had Tommy John surgery while he was in college. He used to throw a little bit faster, but now that he's come to the minors, got to AAA, got used to the minor league ball, and got used to the major league ball, he's got a really good slider. He's got pitches to work with. I think this is just a mature pitcher that knows how to pitch. This Tampa Bay Steinbrenner field, a lot of people make a lot about it, but I think night games are going to play under. All the over environments are going to be during the day. A lot of the things that make it more pitcher friendly will come out at night. And I think this kid that's pitched in the PCL can kind of tame this park. I'm not a big Pepio fan. I'm not a big Rays fan. I know the Astros lineup is leaving a lot to be desired with Alvarez still on the IL, but I think the bats can get to this Tampa Bay team. If you look at this bullpen, it's pitched all right. The numbers on the surface look okay, but it's held together with some very bad stitches. And I think Houston can get to him today. I like it a lot. Plus 125 I'm looking at now. I got plus 120. I think it's some really good value for a spot where I think we have the bullpen advantage. I think we have the starting pitching advantage. And the lineups are probably about scratch. I think Colton Gordon can put us in a good spot to get a win today. And I think the bullpen can take care of it. Nothing's staring at me.
Well, okay. As far as what you said about Colton Gordon, I don't know enough about him to disagree or agree, but the idea of a pitcher blanking the Rays lineup, I can definitely get on board with that. Insert name, like whoever. Like I can definitely get on board with Colton Gordon pitching well against Tampa, because I've said I don't think this Rays lineup is any good. So you say like Colton Gordon, sounds good to me. I don't know. I can get on board with that. The pick, I didn't actually end up betting it, but what I was circling is, you kind of hinted at it, the under. I'll put the under up. I was specifically targeting, though, Astros team total under, because I do not trust this team to score runs on the road. They've been terrible. Like I said, I didn't actually get there, so I don't have this bet. I'll put it on the screen. I didn't really know anything about, or I should say, I really didn't really know enough about Colton Gordon to place the full game under. I said Astros team total under 4.5 or pass last night. I mean, they just haven't gotten to 5 runs many times on the road, and asking them to get to 5 against Pepio, who's not bad. I mean, you want to say Pepio's not a great starter, okay, but he's not bad. There are way worse pitchers than Pepio in the league. So, if I was to bet this game, I would just say the Astros don't get to 5 runs. Maybe they win, but that would be my favorite bet. Astros team total under 4.5. What do you think, Toast?
It would be raise or pass. Well, a couple reasons. One, I don't trust this Astros offense on the road at all, as far as I can throw them. And honestly, I'm not like the biggest Pepe Le Pew fan. I will give you guys that. But home starts against the Phillies, Yankees, and Boston. I mean, I do think this is a little bit of a step down in class for him. He does struggle versus righty bats. That's all you're going to see in Houston. So that's definitely a thing for Houston. I don't know what to think of Colton Gordon. I watch this Astros team a lot, especially because they always seem to bring up guys. He was like really bad in AAA in Sugarland in 2023. Then he got like really, really good last year. I mean, when you give up 7 hits and 4 1/3 to the Royals, I don't really know what to think. But I will say that at the end of this game, I do give a little bit of the edge to the Rays, because Houston, Hader and Abreu are 2 of the last 3 days, and they really kind of are careful with those guys. So probably available, but I don't really know. It's just enough for me to keep me off either side. But it'd be raise or pass.
Yeah, I stayed off as well. Let's move on to the next one. Looks like, Spoon, you're on a Houston Moneyline Island, because the poll was on Tampa too.
I like to be here. There's less cash to split.
Yeah, it's definitely nice to be on those islands.
I love a good island.
Speaking of islands, here comes Toast giving you a terrible bet. Cleveland's on the road in Minnesota, and for no logical reason at all, Toast thinks Cleveland, I don't know. Let me prep you for this. So Toast thinks.
Well, let's prep him. I got about 15 cents CLV, so just snipe that. But now go ahead.
Okay. So Toast thinks Cleveland's bats, with heavy winds blowing in, is gonna get to Bailey Over, who actually has some decent numbers against lefties. So go ahead, Toast. Go ahead. Tell us why.
Yeah, that 300 WOBA and the nearly 5x PIP perfect. Those are just fantastic numbers versus lefty bats. Shout out Bailey. Oh, and by the way, who are those numbers against? Baltimore, Boston, the White Sox, this Cleveland team who hit him up for 8 hits, but I guess that was 7 innings, but so what? The Royals. I mean, Bailey Ober is pitching against the who's who of offensive teams in this league so far this year. I mean, what an absolute stud he is. I mean, I just personally don't get it. I like Bailey Ober. I think he's really good. He's been pitching really good this year. This isn't trying to take anything away from that, but I do think that this giving me Cleveland team total over 1.5 at -120 last night was absolutely just too small of a number because, like I said, he's pitched very well, but he's also pitched 2 back-to-back starts against Baltimore, which I know that team's not good. Boston really offensively on the road, I mean, kind of hit or miss at this point in the season as well. So I'm just really not impressed with what I've seen from Bailey Ober so far. Is he putting up really good numbers? Absolutely, yes. But we also know that this Cleveland team's already seen him, and Cleveland's a top 10 team in Major League Baseball on the low right now. So you're getting a whole bunch of lefties and a Cleveland team that they didn't score a couple runs in Cincinnati, but had they scored, I don't know, 3 or 4 runs each of those days, I don't think we would have had a chance of getting this 1.5. So I think this number is a product of Bailey Ober pitching really good against some really bad lineups and Cleveland really not looking good over the last week. But when they've been on the road, besides this Cincinnati series, they've been just fine so far this year. I love this bet.
This game's going to be 0-0 after 5. I would go under or pass. What do you think, Spoons?
So I think these are 2 pitchers that have kind of exceeded my expectations for them through this part of the season. I could see either one of these guys giving up 3 or 4 runs. This is a pitcher-friendly field, though, and the wind's blowing in. I don't think that I could get there with an over on either of these teams. I like Cleveland a lot more than the Twins. The Twins have been on that run right there, and I feel like once you break one of those streaks, it's just time to fade you. And so over the next few games, I don't look for spots to bet the Twins, but I don't know. I couldn't get there with an over at Target Field today with the wind how it is. It is just a pass game for me. I didn't need to get on it.
Yeah, it's a pass for me as well. The weather's crazy to I don't know. Bailey Ober's been good. Cleveland hasn't. I don't like the bet. It got CLV though.
I like the idea of fading Bailey Ober. I think you can make money doing that throughout the course of the season.
This next one's kind of an ugly one. Last night when we talked about it, I said under or pass at the 8. The Mariners bats are coming crashing down to earth in a pretty violent way. Not that you'll ever see me sit here and defend Davis Martin or anything like that, but it's a very windy day here. Not exactly blowing in. They're like blowing towards first base, kind of slightly in. But the Seattle's, I think we're still in a sell high position when it comes to Seattle bats. You look at their season long numbers, look like a top 5 lineup, but recently they haven't been. So I don't know how much offensive production we're going to get from Seattle in the crazy ass wind here. And if Seattle's held to 5 or less runs, there's no reason for this number to get up and over 8. Castillo should be fine. Toast doesn't like him, and I get how he might be overrated based on his name. He's kind of like a well-known starting pitcher, but he doesn't produce at that level, but he's certainly not bad. So against the White Sox, he should be fine, and it would be under or pass. This one didn't I didn't end up pulling the trigger on this one, but under or pass for me. Spoons, what do you think?
You got to draw a line in the sand with the Mariners lineup. They play in historically one of the most pitcher-friendly parks. You go back to last year, it's the most pitcher-friendly park in the last decade out of any park track. So when they don't put up runs at home, you can't make that much of it. I feel like they've been able to score on the road. Where I tried to get this game was White Sox first 5. I think they can get to...
That's what I played. I played White Sox first 5 money line.
You actually bet that?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, guys.
I did not.
Because
I thought about it, but when it came down to put my money on it, I didn't actually do it. I can't put that much faith in this White Sox team. But the first 5, I think Castillo, outside of the pitcher-friendly park that he's in now, I think we can get to him sometimes. This White Sox lineup, nobody wants to back him, but I think the truth of the matter, if you could get a +0.5 there's no reason that Davis Martin can't keep him in this game. I don't want anything to do with the White Sox bullpen. Seattle, though, the bats, when they get on the road, it's really nice. And even if the wind's not necessarily helping you out, I think they probably get enough runs to beat the Sox. So I don't have my money on it today.
Sounds like Toast does. Plus 130 I'm seeing here.
Yeah, I got.
Select Toast.
It doesn't matter what number I got. But yeah.
I'm curious. What number did you get?
Oh, 140. Trevor bet this too. He's also a coward and takes a half a run. That's okay. We don't have to worry about that. We'll deal with them later. But I will say this. Look, Castillo has been like a little bit of a resurgence. I will say that. Why? Because 3 of his last 4 starts have been at home, and the one start was on the road when they didn't have anybody. So besides that, he really hasn't been that sharp on the road. And on top of that, I don't really like the spot for the Mariners coming off of 3 straight games where they won against the Padres. I mean, that was a big 3 games for them, and now they got to go on the road and play this White Sox team. I just hate the spot for Seattle. I hate the spot for Castillo. And again, I'm not in love with this White Sox team too. But Davis Martin has been somewhat feasible and multiple times this year. Yeah, he had a bad start against Kansas City. He had a bad start against Oakland. But besides that, he's been pretty much decent. So again, it's more of a number thing and a spot thing for me. But I mean, Chicago barely had to travel. They were in the other side of town. I really like the spot for Chicago. So yeah, I played them on the first 5 money line.
Mariners win this game 5-1. Next.
Maybe. I doubt it.
Next up is Orioles Brewers. Wow.
Right.
It's shocking to think that one of these teams has to win. They both can't lose. I do have a bet in the game. I don't know if you could still get the number though.
You can't.
You can't?
No, I looked because that's why I did first 5.
So I mean, I'll just tell you guys what my bet is, but like Toast said, you can't get it anymore.
I mean, you could do like an alt thing on FanDuel.
Well, I mean, I did pay minus 140 for it, so it's not like I crushed the closing line or anything.
If your book does alts, you might be able to find something very similar.
Yeah, I bet you can find something close to that. I got the Orioles team total over 3.5. The numbers against righties really aren't that bad. And look, this team's like cursed or something. I don't really know what's going on, but their last handful of games, you look at the runs scored. What is it? I'm going to pull it up. What is it? 3, 2. I'm pulling it up. So the last few games, 4.
I can say it. Oh, okay.
4, 6, 3, 0, 6, 3. I swear, if you've watched some of these games, a couple of the Nats games, they could have scored 13 runs. I mean,
easily.
They are getting guys on base. They're hitting the baseball for whatever reason. They're just not scratching runs across. I truly think at some point in the near future, not today or next week, but at some point this season, Orioles will be one of the hottest lineups in baseball. They have the talent. It's funny to make fun of them. Not going to take Orioles money line though, because it's Dean Kramer on the road. So I thought the safest bet for me, Orioles to get to 4 runs. I would still play it at 4.5 if you're unable to get to 3.5. But this is what I personally bet: Orioles team total over 3.5. I paid minus 140 for it, so it's expensive.
I did the first 5 team total over 2.5 at plus 110. I just did it for a half a unit, and then I also played Ryan O'Hearn prop, so I posted those in the Discord. But Kyle mentioned this last night, and he just mentioned the other part that I was going to say as well. If you've watched this Orioles team, they've had runners in scoring. I mean, everything that you would want, they have. I mean, literally 2 base hits, and it's probably 6 runs for this team in a couple of these games. Like it's been really crazy. The fact that they can't score runs is unbelievable. But Quinn Priester, really struggles versus lefty bats, and that's what you're going to see from Baltimore here today. Obviously, Holiday, Gunnar, Adley, O'Hearn, Mullins, Kierstad, all lefty bats, all those guys with power as well. So I targeted Ryan O'Hearn just because he's got a 941 OPS and almost a 550 slug and doesn't really strike out that much versus right-handed pitching this year. So, and he's got those guys in front of him. So I did play his hits, runs, and RBIs and his total bases. But again, on paper, this is a very, very good spot for this Baltimore offense to score runs. So on top of the reason that I didn't play Baltimore to win the baseball game is because Kramer's absolutely terrible and he can't pitch on the road to save his life. So that being said, Milwaukee can't hit to save their life right now.
They're
either.
terrible.
So you can go back and forth with these two teams all you want. Again, I agree with Kyle. This is a very good spot for the Orioles offense, especially because, like I've said this many, many times on this show, one of my favorite spots to bet in Major League Baseball is getting a team after they look like absolute garbage in their homestand and betting them that first game out when they hit the road. This is like the epitome of that spot. Yeah.
Spoons, what do you think?
So a lot of what you guys are talking about with the Orioles team total, I definitely got there with Quinn Priester struggles with lefties, and the Orioles have some of the best lefties in the league. There's one thing I think you guys are overlooking. I keep hearing Dean Kramer's terrible. Dean Kramer's can't pitch on the road. Dean Kramer's just the worst. If you look at this month, Dean Kramer's pitched really, really well. He's got a 2.75 ERA, a 0.92 whip. He's seen Minnesota, like his worst game this month, he went 5.2 versus a team he had just seen and gave up 4 runs, 7 innings in both the other starts. I really think this is a guy that the Orioles can use as a serviceable pitcher. If you look at the Orioles and what's wrong with them as an organization, it's not the bats, it's the pitching. You don't win enough games to get to the playoffs in the course of the season with the pitching staff they have right now. And that's on them for putting this together. It's not Brandon Hyde's fault for mismanaging it. But what I see is a team that's lost 6 games in a row, and they're playing a really bad Milwaukee team. They just hit the road psychologically. This is a good spot to get up. Everybody on the team is sick of losing. They're sick of hearing about how shit we are. I don't think Brandon Hyde came over to Milwaukee and told them all the signs for Kramer yet. So I think they're safe. I think Kramer can pitch a good game today. And looking back throughout the course of the season, there's not one time the Orioles have scored more than 3 runs with Kramer on the mound where they didn't win the game. So if I'm looking at it and I'm trying to think about if I want to pay juice on a bet or if I want to get plus money, I want to take the plus money. And if I can get the plus money in a spot where it doesn't affect it, I'm going to do that every time. So I took the Orioles plus 102.
That's the side I would be on as well. And I'll bring up what he was talking about, Priester versus lefties. We were talking about this last night, just to give you an idea. For those of you that didn't watch the show last night, this is what Spoons is talking about. Priester's splits against lefty bats. They are significant. 398 WOBA, 187 whip, 609 expected FIP. Really struggles against lefty bats, and the Orioles have all kinds of lefties in that lineup. So, yeah, awesome.
I need you, Ryan O'Hearn. I need you.
I'm a little hesitant on the Dean Kramer's been really good on the road this month. That's where I was like, ooh, be careful there. But I'm with you on
I said he's been really good this month.
Yeah, I know.
Because 2 of the starts were at home.
No. I wasn't disagreeing with the sentence. I was disagreeing with that means he'll be fine.
Oh, yeah. What does John call him? Krispy Kremer?
Yeah, Krispy Kremer.
So he moved the man bun south, and once it went to the back, I feel like he became a better pitcher.
Probably.
I would be on Baltimore if I was taking a side, but I'll stick to the team total.
One of our resident Brewer fans just texted me and said, just for the record, Kramer last 2 years against Milwaukee, 9 innings, 12 runs, 19 hits. I don't really care about that, but I just wanted to point that out.
Toast, did you make a bet in Tigers Cardinals?
No.
I did. So I don't know if you can get it anymore, though.
I really want to bet the Tigers. I don't really care about their bullpen. I don't think it's as bad as people make it out, but I feel like the price is a trap.
I mean, you can't bet this now. I got under 8.5 last night. It's now at a flat 8. In fact, there's a couple 7.5s out there. So I wouldn't bet it now. This is what I have. I am on the under at 8.5, though. I think it's a flat spot for the Tigers bats coming out of Canada, flying down. Sonny Gray, I'm not the biggest fan, but he has pitched well in this ballpark over the last couple of years. So I think it's a flat spot for the Tigers offensively. I'm a little disappointed with how Detroit's offense looked yesterday. That was one of my losses yesterday, was the Tigers team total over. A little disappointed with them. So flying down from Toronto, I think Sonny Gray could pitch well. Cardinals bullpen is in good shape. And on the other side, I know Kaider Montero is not perceived to be a solid pitcher. He's definitely the primary, right? That hasn't changed.
Correct.
Yeah. So I know Kiter Montero is not perceived to be a great pitcher, but he does have solid numbers against righty bats. He just struggles with lefties. Cardinals lineup doesn't have a ton of lefties in it. I mean, they got Newt Barr up top. You also got Brandon Donovan is in there. But other than that, you got Burleson at the bottom of the order. He hasn't even really been playing much. Yeah, he's been terrible. And then Victor Scott backs in the 9-hole. I don't even know who that is. So Cardinals, dead ass, don't know who that is.
He's a center fielder.
The Cardinals don't really have a ton of lefties that scare you here. Kiter Montero actually against righties has solid numbers: 381 expected FIP, 133 WHIP. I think Kiter Montero can pitch well here. Tigers bullpen is a little on the tax side, but I've said a few times that I think we're kind of in a sell high spot when it comes to the Cardinals bats. They're not this good. And look, I know this is going to scare some people right here. I'll bring it up on the screen. The Tigers bullpen. I know it's a paint by number, as Toast likes to call it. People are going to look at this Tigers bullpen and they're going to be like, oh, how could you take an under? But the truth is, there is a path. They're going to have Brisk. They're going to have Holton. They're going to have Hannafy. They're going to have Herter. So they're going to have 4 or 5 reliable arms they can use to get them home here. Montero's just got to give them 4. Yeah, I'm on the under, but like I said, I wouldn't bet at the current number. So I got 8.5. Spoons, what do you think about my under?
I'm jealous of the number. It's a really good number. It's a pitcher's park. I think it's going to be hard to score runs here today, but I don't know. This Detroit bullpen, we just went through it. All the arms that I really trust, the arm that I want to see there coming out in the 8th and the 9th probably will not be available. And I don't expect them to try to throw out an arm 3 days in a row. St. Louis is not a team I'm trying to pay minus 160 to back, especially with Detroit's bats on the other side. I got really close with Detroit money line. Had there been another bullpen arm available, I think I could have done it, but I don't want to find myself there in a close game at the end and have to watch St. Louis's much fresher bullpen be able to take care of the game. Montero is a really good pitcher. He's serviceable, but the innings bother me. Like he can have a big inning, 30 pitch inning, 35 plus inning. Now he only comes out for 4 innings. We only got 1 out of our opener, and so now we're 5 innings into the game, and we got to find 4 innings worth of bullpen help. And sometimes that's not going to be the bullpen arm you want as the person betting on the team. Detroit's got to think about the rest of the week moving forward and where they're at. I couldn't get there. I wanted to bet Detroit money line. I thought it was some really good value. These are some good bats, and it's going to get better throughout the course of the season as they get more healthy.
Someone saying Adley Rutschman not in the lineup. Yeah, I saw that. It's confirmed he's not playing. But I mean, dude, he's got a 538 OPS this month.
But he's starting to hit better. That pisses me off.
No, anyway, he's not. He had 1 good game, dude. He had one good game.
I'm not. No.
I'm looking at his game logs. He had 1 good game.
I'm just saying the power's there. The doubles are coming. Yeah, he's coming. Yeah.
I don't care about that. Toast. Weren't you leaning Tigers as well?
I was, but exactly what I thought last night. I thought the Tigers were going to be a public dog. They are a public dog. I don't want anything to do with it. I would actually say Cardinals minus 1.5. And the only reason that I say that is because I know the comments are going to say, oh, Toast back in sunny grade. No way. You're right. There's not a chance in hell I would bet this. But I will say this. You're going to get Montero for a couple innings, and then most likely you're going to get Gunther in there, who's a lefty. And I trust the Cardinals versus lefties a lot more. And they've been pretty serviceable versus lefties. So I don't know. I just feel like they want you to bet Detroit here. I'm not going to fall for that trap. If Detroit wins, so be it. But again, I don't worry about the bullpen as much, but I think that the fact that you're going to see a couple lefties is going to be a bad situation for Detroit. So
at least I see 93% of the money on St. Louis right now.
Yeah, probably depends on what source you're looking at.
Yeah, on VSiN, it's the
yeah.
Tigers,
I mean, that's why I don't like that. You could go just 4 different websites.
I don't want to deal with it. Yeah.
Kiter Montero is the primary pitcher, by the way. For those in the comments, he probably isn't pitching the first inning, but he is the primary. So depending on what website you look at, it might tell you who the opener is. But confirmed, Kiter Montero, primary starter. I'm looking at it right now. So yeah, someone else might be pitching the first inning, but Kiter Montero will be in there. All right, let's move on to Phillies in Coors for 4 games. I mean, I have no idea. Spoon, you want to lead off on this one?
Well, I got close to a bet here.
Really?
I did. The Phillies, I like this team. I think they can score here at Coors Field, but I like this pitcher. You put a ground ball pitcher in Coors. You put Kyle Freeland after, I don't know if you guys saw the big speech he had when the Rockies are coming out after firing their manager and everything going on. This is a Colorado kid that grew up right here. In 2018, he had the best pitcher I think any Colorado pitcher's ever had. He had an ERA under 2.5 at Coors Field for an entire season. And while we're well removed from that Kyle Freeland, I think right after that speech, all of that, like, if you're ever going to back it up, this is the game to do it. And, Kyle Freeland takes care of lefties. And when I'm worried about the Phillies lineup, it's those two big lefties, Schwarber and Harper. And I think Kyle Freeland can
Hold on. Are you about to say Rockies money line?
Dude, I agree with him, dude. They're taking Phillies money all day. Yo, they got reverse line movement on this. I didn't do it either, but I love it. I love the play, Spoon. Go get you some, dog.
So, like I said, like I said, I got really close, but I had to draw the line. It's the Rockies. And I said this the other day. Friends don't let friends bet the Rockies. That's a bad idea. Look at this team. Look at the amount of, if you're going to do it, I guess do it at home, but it's not for me. I know a guy, he's a huge Rockies fan, and over the last 2 seasons, the only thing he's done is bet against the Rockies, and he's got a huge bankroll built off it, and I think he's probably onto something.
Just wow. I'm making you guys sit there with the Rockies graphic underneath you. I want you to really think about what you're doing.
I was just accepting what he said. That's all I'm saying. I'm not betting this game. I think that I have a feeling that both of these, actually, you know what? You could put under 10 up for me. Like, I do think that the Phillies have a chance to destroy Freeland, but at the same time, he has pitched really well against them at home the last couple of times if you've seen them. And Christopher Sanchez has been absolutely dominant. I mean, essentially everywhere. He did pitch in Coors last year, and he was fine. I don't know. My gut still tells me the Phillies destroy this team, but again, I'm not betting it. I mean, at all.
You can get under 7.5 for the first 7. You can get rid of the Phillies' lack of a bullpen now. I don't know what performance-enhancing drugs they were trying to use, but like, I got really close. I think that under is a sharp play here tonight. So if you look at a lot of models, Coors always is off the charts with how many runs are going to be played there. But this is one of the colder days of the season. 75% of the games will be played at over 60 degrees, and every pitch tonight will be thrown in the 50s. I think this is a really good under spot. It's Coors Field, though, and I got money in other places that I'd rather make. So.
Yeah, I can get on board with maybe if you wanted to do a Phillies team total under or just
actually,
an under.
You know what I don't mind either. Let's check on this number. First 5 under 5.5. Both of these teams traveling into Coors, they're going to have to get their feet wet. If you got Kyle Freeland actually going to pitch well, they're not going to be able to touch Sanchez. Yeah, that's the one. First 5 under 5.5 minus 120.
You're actually going to bet that?
I'm actually going to bet this right now.
All right, I'll put it up for you.
Come on, Kyle Freeland.
First 5 under 5.5. I don't hate the under. With the Phillies just coming into Coors, you got heavy wind blowing in too. I know it's Coors Field and like it's basically another planet, but I don't hate an under. It'll probably be under a pass for me there. Royals Giants. Toast is going to give his Robbie Ray speech.
Well, let's let Spoon go. Let's see if he agrees with me that Robbie Ray is back.
It's not that I disagree about Robbie Ray being back. It's
you do.
I disagree about the Giants' bats. But all right, go ahead, Spoons.
So I don't think I necessarily have the full picture on Toast's Robbie Ray story, but I think Robbie Ray is a pitcher that has all the tools to be a really good pitcher in the major leagues. One thing he does, though, is put a lot of ducks on the pond, and he walks guys. He doesn't have necessarily the control that he wants all the time. But this year he pitches at Oracle, and Oracle is one of the most pitcher-friendly parks. You talk about wind, and you always see it blowing straight out to center. That doesn't matter here. The way the buildings are set up, the signs are set up, everything is set up to make sure the wind does not carry out, and it is not easy to hit home runs here. I think this is an under spot. I personally couldn't get there. I really like Chris Bubik. He's a good pitcher for the Royals. I think the Royals can get to Robbie Ray. So what he's going to do is probably pitch around the Royals' best bats in Salvi and Bobby Baseball. But I don't know. I just trust this Royals lineup just a little bit more than what I do the Giants lineup at this point in the season. You look at some of the advanced metrics and stuff. I don't know. I don't like this Giants team that much. I feel like they've overperformed some, but just kind of like Sonny Gray earlier, that every game this year the Cardinals are supposed to win with Sonny Gray on the mound. They've won. Every game the Giants have played with Robbie Ray on the mound, they've won. I'm not trying to get in front of that with my money, but I do have a lean to the Royals, and I do have a lean to the under, but I didn't get there.
Okay. So
Hate to see it.
I would probably lean the other way towards the Giants, but so Toast is about to say Giants first 5 money line, and he's about to give a really riveting speech about Robbie Ray and overcoming demons and overcoming adversity and all of that. It's not that I don't think Robbie Ray's back. He looks great. And it's not that I don't think he'll dominate the Royals lineup. I do. They haven't hit lefties. This isn't a lineup I particularly trust to begin with. Also, I don't trust the weather reports in this place. Heavy wind blowing out doesn't mean shit. It'll still be 2-0. Like, this ballpark defies what we know about physics. Where I am held up is the Giants scoring on Chris Bubich. I think everything you're about to say about Robbie Ray pitching against the Royals, copy and paste it on the other side. And I feel like you're not going to mention that. So go ahead, Toast.
Oh, I'll get there. It's like halfway down. So we're going to start with Robbie Ray. He's all the way back. And like I've all the way told you guys that. And yes, he does have a control issue at times. Absolutely. But there's only been really one time this year, and that was the Philly game, that really the walks came back to bite him in the ass. Why? Because he can strike guys out, and that's a huge thing, and he can get ground balls. But more than anything, he can strike guys out. And now we've starting to see the walk problem go down, especially considering from what it was at the start of the year. Yeah, obviously the start versus Arizona wasn't great. It's another 3 walks there. But again, that's one of the best lineups in baseball. And the Cubs offense, obviously they haven't been the same the last week and a half or so, but still that's a very good team. On top of the fact that he struggles versus lefty bats, and the Royals have one lefty bat in the lineup that's even somewhat decent in Vinny Pasquantino. That's it. So I have a hard time believing that the Royals are going to do anything off of Robbie Ray. You're right. Bubic has been really good. We've made some money off of him, but this Giants team is different at home, for one. And for two, I will give you that Sears, Rodriguez, Boyd, Freeland aren't. I would say Bubic's probably better than all of them except for Boyd. But, they were getting a couple runs off of them. So I'm just really not worried about the Giants offensively in this spot, because I only think we need probably 2 runs to get us there. Not to mention the Giants didn't have to travel. They've been home for the last 2 series. Kansas City's going to be traveling out to the West Coast. I love the Giants first 5 here.
Here's the thing with the you said he struggles with lefty bats. I don't really like that data. Lefty pitchers against lefty bats. I feel like you're always going to get inaccurate data there because they don't see a ton. They usually see a lineup full of righties, and the lefties they do see are going to be like the best lefties in baseball. The ones that bat, you know what I mean?
I agree, but usually that's why you have multiple different you want to get lefties and righties in your lineup. When you have a lineup like Kansas City, it's all righties. Yeah. It's hard for me to worry about it. That's the difference for me. If there was 3 or 4 lefties that were somewhat, it's like, okay, cool. That makes a difference. I get that. And that's just a personal thing.
I'll put under up, but I'm good on this one. This feels coin flippy as hell.
I don't trust the Giants full game. I know that their bullpen has like decent numbers, but there's just something about them I don't trust. They're also not going to have Ryan Walker tonight either, so that's part of it. But not that he's been great. But anyway,
the A's are minus 140 now. Wow.
Yeah, dude, this is ridiculous.
It was minus 120 last night when we were talking about it. So I guess everyone is buying into the fade the Angels off of the Dodger Stadium weekend sweep, right? I guess all the action's buying into that.
Yeah, I played the over. I played the over for small.
I think I would go under or pass.
So
let's let Spoons go.
Yeah, this is an athletics team I like a lot. I'm going to look to back him tomorrow, though, on Gunnar Hoglund Day. Here with JT Ginn on the mound, I don't necessarily know what I'm going to get. He only went 3.1 innings in his rehab start. So I don't necessarily think you're going to get an entire 5 innings out of this guy today. On top of that, the Angels, they're swinging the bats pretty well. They just swept the Dodgers. That's not an easy feat to do. So Ginn's going to look like batting practice after a couple of those Dodgers arms, to be honest. And I could only get there with the Angels today. I thought about it. It's just a team that I have a really hard time backing. The bullpen pieces aren't there for me. I don't trust Jensen. There's too many ways to not do it. I've got the A's circled to back tomorrow. That's something I'm going to do. I'm going to pay attention to the bullpen usage in this game, kind of see how things shake out. But I think the Angels could carry this over. I know a lot of people are on the Athletics today. They're a flashy team, and the Bats, at home they performed better. But I think Soriano's a guy we can back. He has the ability to make ground balls, and we were talking about the PCL earlier. This is a PCL park, the most offensive-friendly environment in all of AAA. It's been brought to the major leagues. I don't think that's a great spot for Ginn to pitch today. I think Soriano fares better there. His ability to induce the ground balls, something I like. The Angels bats, I don't necessarily trust, but when you're hot in baseball, sometimes you just got to keep it going. I could only get there with the Angels, but I'm off.
Okay, something I will say that I agree with. So you said a lot of people on the A's. I'm assuming they're on the minus 115s and the minus 120s from last night. I doubt there's a lot of people betting the minus 140. So at current, I'm looking. You can get an Angels first 5 money line at plus 110 with a significant starting pitching advantage. I mean, how do you not consider that? I'm not saying I'm going to bet it. I'm just saying you can avoid the Angels bullpen. Plus 110 first 5 money line with the better starting pitcher. What are we doing here?
I'm playing the over 9.5. Obviously, it's a AAA park with wind blowing out and almost 80 degrees, so that's a positive there. So we'll start there. As far as your Soriano and the Angels' first 5, this is why I don't like it. I agree with everything as far as them getting to JT Ginn. He gave up 3 home runs against Texas. This is an Angels team that either strikes out or hits home runs. They sell out. On top of the fact that the Angels have seen Zach Eflin, Michael King, Dylan Cease, Randy Vasquez, Dustin May, Clayton Kershaw, Tony Gonsolin over the last however many games that is. So I don't really think that them seeing JT Ginn is anything special. But what my worry is Soriano. Struggled on the road so far this year, and the 2 times that he didn't struggle on the road was Tampa Bay, which was like the first one of his first starts of the season. But then after that game, he went 7 2/3. He was fantastic. Then went on the road to Texas, who we know can't do anything. Gave up 10 hits and 3 runs. On top of the fact that he just pitched a fantastic game in San Diego, but he also had 107 pitches. That's 17 pitches more than I think his other max efforts so far this year. I just feel like this is a spot where he could actually just kind of get sparked up. So, but again, I don't trust the Angels bullpen enough to bet them actually to win a baseball game. But obviously, I do think the Angels are playing very, very good right now. Not only did they sweep the Dodgers, and obviously the Padres aren't playing well right now, but they very well could have took 2 or 3 from the Padres. You guys forget that Fernando Tatis walked it off in the 9th in one of those games. So it easily could have went the other way. So the Angels I do think the Angels are playing much better than people give them credit for. So again, that's why I played the over.
Yeah, Angels first 5 or pass at the current number. Last night I think I said under or pass. It was 23 cents ago. Let's move on to the last game on the board, and tail toast. Dodgers at minus 136 in my pocket. Well, let's do it, right? This team can't possibly lose a 4th straight, right?
That's what they tell me. That's what I bet it.
So Spoons, me and Zost are on the Dodgers money line. We already talked about it last night. What are your thoughts? We did get a better number. We got minus 136 last night.
I get the reasoning, the logic. This is not a team that's going to get swept a lot, and I expect a team that's good to bounce back from a sweep. I expect a good pitcher to bounce back from bad outings, but I think Brandon Pfaadt is the better pitcher in this matchup.
I agree with that.
I think some people have some respect for Landon Knack. He still has to prove it to me. But Brandon Pfaadt, I think he's the best pitcher on this Diamondbacks team. And I think over the next few years, he's going to show that to everybody. How you do that is by performing well against the Dodgers. And I don't know, you hang some good plus money here. That's the only side I could get on. I like the Diamondbacks. I like their lineup. They have a lot of bats. There's no easy outs. Sometimes you can pitch around a lot of these lineups. Just 1 or 2 bats are all you have to be scared of. But you can't necessarily do that with the Diamondbacks. The Dodgers on the other side, though, there's just the same story. There's so many good bats in that lineup. Looking at the Dodgers bullpen, though, they just lost one of their relief arms to the IL.
Kirby Yates.
This is not the same Dodgers bullpen and same Dodgers pitching staff that was there coming into this season. You got Kirby Yates, Evan Phillips, Michael Kopech, Blake Trinan, Edward Henry, Michael Grove, all on the IL right now. I don't know. I like the Diamondbacks a lot. I could see just taking that money line and taking the plus money and just keeping my fingers crossed that Knack's not going to have a good game. But I don't know. I didn't get there. I thought the bets I already had were better spots to have.
I will say the Dodgers bullpen is a shell of what it was, but we still have the advantage in the late innings over what's on the other side. Right, Toast?
Yes. Yes. Well, let me start with Landon Knack first. So I am a Landon Knack guy. I think I've made it very clear. I do trust him. I do think that there's a reason that they've kept him around, even with the signings of all these other guys, and it's not just because he's cheap. You worry about him versus a whole bunch of righty bats. I don't really, again, I'm not trying to make a case that Arizona is bad or anything like that, but this is a good lineup for Landon Knack versus a whole bunch of lefty bats in that lineup. So maybe guys like Eugenio Suarez or Gurriel might get to him. But besides that, again, not saying that the other guys can't, but on paper, this is a pretty decent matchup for him versus the Diamondbacks. As far as Brandon Pfaadt is concerned, I agree that he's pretty good, but this isn't me just trying to fade Brandon Pfaadt. But what I will say is that he's pitched decent against the Dodgers when he's been at home, but when he's been on the road in Dodger Stadium, really not that much. 9 innings, 9 runs, 12 hits. It really hasn't been impressive. But it's the bullpens is what we were talking about. That's what makes me like the Dodgers even more. You're right. The Dodgers have a whole bunch of guys on the IL, but they still have Tanner Scott, Alec Vesia, and Ben Kasperius all rested and ready to go. And to be honest, I actually trust Jack Dreyer. He's actually been so fine for them today. So they really got 4 guys back there that I'm not going to worry about if they come into the game. And then as far as Arizona goes, who's going to come into this game that you're going to be like, all right, we're good now? Because Shelby Miller, who has been good, but he threw 17 pitches yesterday. So you're going to see him maybe if they in a closing situation somehow, some way. But Kevin Ginkel, who's been their other guy, I mean, he's on 3 straight days. So now you're going to worry about Jalen Beeks or Ryan Thompson or Kendall Graveman. Like, please, God, Louis, send Kendall Graveman out to the freaking mound tonight in Dodger Stadium. I freaking beg you, Torey Lovello. Like, I can't wait for that to happen. So, yeah, I'm all over the Dodgers tonight. I don't care how public it is. I think they have. I'm not saying that they're going to kill the Angels or the Diamondbacks, but I think they win tonight.
I just do not agree with the Kendall Graveman disrespect. That's a good arm coming out of the bullpen right there. I mean, I agree with you. The Diamondbacks bullpen is not that great. Shelby Miller has been really impressive, and they needed him to step up with injuries they faced. But I don't know. Jalen Beeks is available. He's a former Rays arm that I trust. Kendall Graveman is an arm I trust.
I mean, I trusted him a couple years ago.
I trusted him a couple of years ago as well. But, I mean, over the last couple of years when he was with the White Sox and his end of the day.
Hold on. I liked him with the White Sox.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that was 2 years ago, Spoons.
I was going to say his time with the White Sox has been fine, but since then,
dealing with injuries, saying it was bad.
Oh, I'm sorry. I respect the recency bias. My bad.
I'm just saying, in 2023, he was terrible. Then he got hurt, and he still has a 650 xFIP right now. So again, I'm just not in a spot where I'm worried about Kendall Graveman.
He also got
crushed. Terrible because he was hurt?
He also got crushed by the Rockies his last time out. That's the Rockies.
I respected Kendall Graveman 3 years ago. I'm with you there.
So Spoon, you said Thursday and Sunday is your show. Where can the people find your stuff?
Yeah, Pub Sports Radio right here on YouTube. Every Thursday, I'm with my guy, Jimmy the Bag. He hosts a show breaking down the entire card, not just baseball, but he's a unicorn capper, does it all. Football, hockey, he even gets into the horses. And this guy is on a heater when it comes to hockey. And on Sundays, me and my guy, Wine Time Sports, we break down all of the baseball card. We go through the game similar to how you guys do it, look at the market, the weather, give it out our best bets, some things we're kind of leaning on. You can find me right over there at Pub Sports. Same kind of deal, not really selling anything, no tout, just trying to bring some good content and find ways to beat the books. Really respect what you do over here, Kyle, Toast. Some great work always.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on today.
Yeah, appreciate you stopping by. So that's his Twitter right on there. And I'm assuming you're tweeting out when you're going live and stuff. You'll let everybody know?
Yep.
All right, so that's his Twitter spelled just like that. So everyone, thanks everyone for watching. If you're in the betting league, new week starts today. So if you're trying to get in on this week, we're all starting at 0. You have 56 minutes to submit your picks for the night.
Oh, really quickly, also, just in, Teoscar Hernandez just got announced that he's going to be back from the IL tonight. So that's another bat for the Dodgers. Let's go.
There you go.